right, ready?
All right, Chief, thanks.
Yeah, I want to thank all of you for being here today on our first day with the Focus Intervention team starting their operations. This is a great day for us. It's been a long time in the making. It's taken a while, but we wanted to get this right. We've got great officers here behind me who are coming back to do this, dangerous and tough work in this city. What we've experienced the last year and a half or so with homicides and shootings has been really, really tough on everyone. And we're glad we can now field this team to address some of the gun violence in our city. We had over 46 people put in for this position. We interviewed over 44, and we selected 12 officers and 2 sergeants, and we've got the right people for this work. And I'm very happy that they've chosen to do this work. I'm very proud of them for getting through the selection process and the training. And I'm really hopeful that having the community voice, the Focus Intervention Team, Community Oversight Group, will lend support to this work that we haven't had in the past. I think that community voice is so important. And for us, it's I think of it more as a community collaboration than community oversight. But we're really happy to now start this work and hopefully make a difference with gun violence in the city. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to take time. There's going to be relationship building and a lot of things that need to happen. But I just want to ask everyone to support this team as much as I do.
Well, you made the point it's not going to happen overnight, and you guys have been saying that for a while now. What do you hope, Chief, to see in the immediate future, like in the first few weeks? I mean, is there anything tangible that the community can look for, or what do you expect to see here in the coming weeks?
Well, I think one of the very important things is relationship building and also deterrent. We haven't had this focused gun violence deterrent in a while, and I think that's going to help right off the bat. It's hard to say, with a number because we don't know what's going to happen tonight or the next nights. But my hope is that over time we'll see a decrease in shootings in the city.
Chief, a lot has happened since the gun violence reduction team was disbanded.
Yeah.
You said they can't solve it overnight. What are you telling these officers in the streets on day one?
The first thing I'm telling them is I support them to be safe. This work is more dangerous than it's ever been. And focus on building relationships too. A lot of this work is centered around knowing people, having communications with folks, and trust. I think the people we've had doing this work in the past did that really well, and I think that's a real important component. But I visited with them on Saturday. I came to their roll call today, and more than anything, I want them to know that I support them, that I'm willing to do whatever I need to do to help them be successful in this work because it's just so important to the community.
You talk about support. Do you feel like you have the support you need from City Hall for this to be successful?
I do.
Is this a gun violence team or a gang team?
Gun violence team. We're focused on gun violence throughout the city.
There are people who are going to accuse this of being a gang team. There's going to be people that say, bring the gang-focused team back. What would you say to both of those sides?
I would say we've done this work before, whether with the gang enforcement team, with the gun violence reduction team. Those were good officers doing good work, and that work proved unsustainable. We're always looking for ways where we can do this work in a manner that's consistent with what the community expects, but also effective at reducing gun violence and will work. So I think there might always be those criticisms out there, but we have to remain flexible and try to come at this work in a data-driven way and be as effective as possible.
Chief, the gun violence reduction team had an investigative arm, control arm that seemed to really all work together. The perception is that those have been kind of put back together piecemeal. You've got homicide detectives, ECSQ, and STIT now. How will all those units work together to address gun violence?
Yeah, well, ECST has been formulated for a while, but now FIT and ECST will be together, housed under our Strategic Resources Division. So they'll be able to work more closely. And I think, for us, it's like what makes the most sense to have this concerted effort where we have officers out on the street in uniform, proactive with relationships, and then an investigative arm that has access to those officers so we can go out and do investigations quickly and effectively. And I think, we've put a lot of resources to gun violence in the past year and a half, resources that we've taken from other things in the city as well. So we'll have a focus on gun violence, but we also, from my standpoint, have to be mindful of the other things going on in the city that require resources as well.
Do you think there's more that Bureau can or should do on gun violence, or do you feel like this is it?
I feel like this is the logical next step. There might be more, and we may learn as we go, some additional things. I think there's probably a lot of things a lot of people can do around gun violence. This is something that's a heavy lift, And we're not going to solve it ourselves. We need our partners, the DA's office, Office of Violence Prevention, community partners, and a whole host of others to help.
What's going to be the biggest challenge?
The biggest challenge? I think the biggest challenge is probably just doing this work safely. I think that to me is always kind of the forefront and the foremost thing. We have a lot of shootings, a lot of people have guns, and we want to approach this work in a safe manner so everyone goes home at night, community members and police officers.
What can this team do that a patrol officer can't?
Well, one, a patrol officer is really, assigned a district. They're assigned to answer 911 calls for service. This team will be focused on gun violence, going to scenes where shooting has occurred. They may help out on calls. If it's a busy night and they're free, they could help out on some calls. But they're going to be focused solely. Their number one goal is going to be gun violence.
You mentioned the critical component of community oversight. What else? What are the other differences between this team and GVRT in your opinion?
I think with this team we have a new approach. I think having the FITCOG, the Community Oversight Group, allows us to have that community voice at the table. And it's incumbent on us to listen to that voice. When we meet with them, when we talk with them, and they say, hey, we think you should be doing this differently or that differently, we need to listen. And we need to do the work in a way that the community supports too. And I think that's kind of what was maybe missing in our earlier efforts.
Do like one more, please.
You mentioned the community input, or police can't solve the problem on their own. You need community members to come forward with information, witnesses,
Right.
stuff like that. What is your message to the people who live in these neighborhoods that are the most impacted by the violence? What do you want them to hear from their chief?
I think my message to them would be, one, we care. We're moving resources. We're constantly, within our constraints, trying to do everything we can to bring resources to this issue. There's a lot of issues in this city. Gun violence has risen to the top, but there are others too that affect a lot of people, particularly those in neighborhoods. But having a safe city where there isn't 90 homicides a year is important to me as the chief and important to the people standing behind me, which is why they're here doing this work. So I want everyone in the city to know that we're serious about gun violence, and we're going to do the things we can with the resources we have to try to reduce it.